What happens when a child's voice becomes the only thing standing between an innocent man and a lifetime behind bars? When the justice system fails and lawyers abandon ship, sometimes the most powerful defense comes from the most unexpected source. This is the story of how one little girl's courage exposed a conspiracy that nearly destroyed an innocent millionaire. Drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories of underdogs taking on the system and winning. The courtroom was packed like a stadium, reporters and spectators hungry to watch a young tech billionaire's downfall. Marcus Sterling sat at the defense table, handcuffed and hollow-eyed, watching his million-dollar legal team crumble before his eyes. At just 28, Marcus had built TechBridge, an app connecting underprivileged kids to educational opportunities. Forbes called him the people's billionaire, but now he faced charges for a brutal warehouse assault that could end his life as he knew it. His defense attorney stood up, closed his briefcase, and delivered the words that sent shockwaves through the room: "I am withdrawing from representation, Your Honor." Effective immediately. The crowd gasped. Cameras flashed. Marcus felt his world collapse. But in the third row, one small figure sat perfectly still, 8-year-old Zara Washington, clutching a worn notebook like it contained the secrets of the universe. As the judge struggled to restore order and Marcus stared at his empty chair in disbelief, a clear, unwavering voice cut through the chaos. "I can defend him." The entire courtroom froze. All eyes turned to see a little girl with braids and a borrowed dress standing on her seat, tiny hands gripping the bench in front of her. The judge leaned forward, confused. "Excuse me, young lady?" "I said I can defend him," Zara repeated, her voice stronger now. "I know he didn't do it." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Someone pulled out their phone to record. The bailiff stepped forward, unsure whether this was real or some elaborate prank. "And how would you know that?" Judge Martinez asked, torn between curiosity and protocol. Zara's answer stopped everyone cold: "Because he saved my brother's life 2 years ago." Marcus turned slowly in his chair, recognition dawning in his eyes. He remembered her, the little sister of Jamal Washington, one of the kids in his mentorship program. Jamal had been brilliant, destined for great things, until a stray bullet took him away before he could even graduate. Zara stepped into the aisle like she'd done this 1,000 times before. Her voice cracked but never wavered. "I know you think I'm just some kid, but my brother looked up to him. Marcus gave every kid in our building tablets and internet when we didn't have nothing. Jamal was going to college because of him. And I've been reading everything about this case. He couldn't have done what they're saying." The prosecutor scoffed. "Your Honor, this is a child." "Let her speak," Judge Martinez interrupted, surprising everyone. What happened next was extraordinary. This 8-year-old girl, armed with nothing but a spiral notebook and unwavering belief, began dismantling the prosecution's case piece by piece. She'd memorized flight records showing Marcus couldn't have been in 2 places at once. She'd found inconsistencies in witness statements that experienced lawyers had missed. Most shocking of all, she'd uncovered connections between the alleged victim, Vincent Cross, and Marcus's former business partner, connections that pointed to an elaborate frame-up. "They said Marcus was at that warehouse," Zara explained, flipping through her handwritten notes, "but his flight didn't land until after midnight, and the warehouse is hours from the airport. Math is math, he couldn't have been there." The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Even the seasoned reporters sat up straighter. This wasn't just a child playing lawyer, this was a methodical demolition of what everyone assumed was an airtight case. As Zara continued her impromptu defense, the pieces of a larger puzzle began falling into place. She'd discovered that Marcus's former partner, Derek Vance, had been meeting secretly with Vincent Cross. More damning still, Derek had purchased a plane ticket to the same city on the same night of the alleged assault. Someone wanted Marcus to look guilty, Zara declared, her small voice echoing through the silent courtroom. And whoever it was, they didn't count on anyone caring enough to actually look for the truth. The prosecution's confidence cracked. The judge called for an immediate recess to review the new evidence. As chaos erupted around them, Marcus caught Zara's eye and mouthed a simple, "Thank you," that carried the weight of his entire world. The investigation that followed moved swiftly. Derek Vance, consumed by jealousy over Marcus's success and their bitter business breakup, had orchestrated the entire scheme. He'd cloned Marcus's phone, planted evidence, and conspired with Vincent Cross to frame his former friend. But he'd never counted on an 8-year-old girl with a notebook and an unshakable sense of justice. When the Real story broke, the media narrative flipped overnight. The headlines changed from "Fallen Billionaire" to "Innocent Man Saved by Child Hero." Derek Vance found himself in handcuffs while Marcus walked free. A week later, Marcus sat in Zara's modest kitchen, sharing fried chicken with her and her grandmother. The contrast couldn't have been starker: a billionaire tech mogul and a little girl from East Baltimore, brought together by tragedy and bound by justice. "You know," Marcus said, watching Zara help her grandmother with dishes, "you'd make an incredible lawyer someday." Zara grinned. "You think so?" "I know so. But next time I'm in trouble, I'm calling you first." She laughed, eyes sparkling with possibility. "Next time, I'm charging you." This story isn't just about a false accusation or a courtroom drama. It's about the power of one voice, even the smallest voice, to stand against injustice when everyone else has given up. Zara Washington didn't have law degrees or expensive suits. She had something more powerful: the courage to speak truth when no one else would listen. She proved that justice isn't about who has the most money or the best connections, it's about who cares enough to fight for what's right. In a world where children are told to be seen and not heard, where poverty is assumed to equal powerlessness, Zara stood up and said, "Not today." She reminded a packed courtroom that wisdom can come from anywhere, that heroes don't always wear capes, and that sometimes the most important voice in the room belongs to someone everyone else overlooked. Marcus's company, TechBridge, now partners with schools across the country to teach kids about justice, critical thinking, and the power of their own voices. Zara has become a symbol of hope for young people everywhere who feel powerless against systems that seem too big to challenge. Her message is simple but revolutionary: when the world calls someone guilty, somebody's got to remember the innocent until proven otherwise. And sometimes that somebody is just a kid with a notebook and the courage to stand up. If this story inspired you to never underestimate the power of standing up for what's right, smash that subscribe button and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Stories like these prove that heroes come in all sizes, and sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. Remember, your voice matters, regardless of your age, background, or circumstances. Justice isn't just for those who can afford it, it's for anyone brave enough to demand it.